Hi guys, I got a new app to help me with your lessons. I'm kind of a little bit rusty on it because I'm just learning it, but hopefully I think it'll do a better job of making it so you can see what I'm writing. So what I plan on doing in this video is working through your practice test, each and every problem. Remember, the practice test is optional. You don't need to turn it in. But if you do it, I think it's wise because it'll help you with your test. So before I get going on the actual problems, let's first look over each of the formulas. You have two main formulas to remember. The first one is for prisms and cylinders. You'll recognize those because they have a matching top and a bottom. So if the solid figure has a matching top and a bottom, like this one has a top that's a circle and a bottom that would be a circle. This one has matching squares, and this one has matching triangles. Okay, so they have a matching top and a bottom and a uniform height connecting them. That's when you know to use this formula. One of the important things, make sure you know when you use this formula, capital B stands for area of the base. Find the area of the circular bottom, then multiply by the height. Okay? The other formula is for when you have pyramids and cones, or what I like to think of them as things that come to points. So if there's a sharp point, like these guys, then you know you're going to have a 1/3 in your formula because these guys take up 1/3 of the space. Okay? Now, when you're finding the area of the base, those bottoms, that's area of the base. So you're going to use area formulas that you're supposed to already know. Whoops. So you got a little caught up there in the program. Anyway, these are the area problems that you're supposed to already know. And the nice thing about being online is you could write these all down while you're taking your test. Although I think these formulas are pretty easy. Okay, so moving on. This should be the first problem of your practice test. And this is a pretty straightforward, easy one. It has a matching top and a bottom, so it's a prism. In fact, it's a rectangular prism. And so we're going to use the formula volume equals capital B times H. And B for this problem is a rectangle. This is the base right here. Okay? So the volume of the area of the base would be 12 times 5, which is 60. Okay? The height of the prism, that is the length connecting those two rectangular bases. The height would be this 9 over here. So put it all together, the volume of this prism is 60 times 9, which is 540 cubic meters. I know this is very sloppy. I got to get a better stylus, but this is all I have for now. Okay, number 2. This is also a prism because you have a matching top and bottom. The base in this case would be the triangular bottom and matching top. So we're still going to use the same formula. Volume equals capital B times H. Hold on. Capital B times H. And B in this case is the triangle. So it's 1/2 of base times height of the triangle, which is 8 times 4.3. Okay? And that's going to be half of 8, which is 4, and 4 times 4.3, which is 17.2. That's just the area of the triangle. The height of the prism, the height is the height or the distance that connects the two triangles. So the height is 7. Notice in this problem that the 5 up here is a distractor. It didn't get used at all. Okay, now go back and do the volume of the prism. So the volume of the prism would be 17.2 times 7, which is 120.4 cubic miles. Okay, number 3. This is another prism because again, we have matching bases, this triangular top and bottom. So same formula. We're going to find the area of the base first. Okay, area of the base, it's a triangle. So it's going to be the base times height of the triangle. Well, this triangle is a right triangle, so the base and the height are also the legs of the triangle. So it's going to be 1/2 of 4 times 3, which is half of 12, or 6. The height is the distance connecting those two matching bases, so the height of this prism is 3. Okay, and the volume is area of the base times the height, so 18 cubic feet. I know it looks like I'm writing like a first grader. I promise I'll get better when I get a new pen to write with. Okay, this one is not a prism, it's called a cylinder, but it still has a matching top and bottom, so we still use the same formula, area of the base times the height. So the base is a circle, pi r squared. So it's pi times r squared, and r would be 7 since the diameter is 14. 7 squared is 49, so the area of the base is 49 pi. But if you look at the directions for this one says to round to the nearest hundredth, which means you're going to be replacing pi with 3.14. So I'm going to multiply 49 times 3.14, or 49 times the pi button on my calculator, and I get approximately 153.94 for the area of the base. The height is the length connecting those two circular bases, so the height is 8. Okay, so the volume is going to be area of the base, 153.94, times the height of 8, and that is rounded to the nearest hundredth is what the direction said, so that would be 1,231.50. You don't really have to write the 0, but the next number was a 4, so you don't round that up to a 1. And again, cubic inches. Okay, big neon flashing lights should be going off right now because this one has a point. If it has that point, pyramid or cone, then your formula has the 1/3 in it. Honestly, when you're taking your test, I would go through, and every problem that's a pyramid or a cone, I would go through and write 1/3 area of the base times the height for each one of those right away so that you don't forget the 1/3 for these. Other than that, they're kind of the same. So I got to find the area of the base, which is a rectangle, so that's 6 times 3, or 18. The height of this pyramid is 6. So the volume is 1/3 area of the base, which was 18, times the 6. You can do 1/3 of 18, you can do 1/3 of 6, or you can multiply 18 times 6 and then divide by 3. It doesn't matter which way you do it. So either way, if I do a 1/3 of 18, or 18 divided by 3, that would be 6, and 6 times 6 is 36. So this is 36 cubic feet. Okay, number 6. This one also comes to a sharp point. So we're also going to again use the formula that has a 1/3 in it. So I would recommend, write it down right away, 1/3 area of the base times the height. Okay, the base in this case is a square, but you can still treat it like a rectangle. The area of that rectangle or square would be 7 times 7, which is 49. The height of the pyramid is the 12. Put it all together, the volume is 1/3 area of the base times the height. I'm going to do 1/3 of 12 because that's a little easier. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So now I just need to do 49 times 4, which is 196 cubic inches. Okay, number 7. Number 7 is another pyramid because of this point right here. So we have to use the 1/3 formula again. Volume equals 1/3 area of the base times the height. This base, however, is also a triangle. So when you go to find the area of the base, you're going to use the triangle formula this time. So area of the base is 1/2 base times height. And the base and the height, remember, don't look at the 11 up here. You're looking at just the triangular base and the two perpendicular sides, which are 6 and 8. So it's 1/2 of 6 times 8 to find the area of the triangle. Notice this 10 didn't get used. Okay, when you're doing the area of the base, you focus just on the bottom numbers, and you've got to find the two that are perpendicular to each other. So 1/2 of 6 is 3. 3 times 8 would be 24 for the area of my base. The height of the pyramid is 11. So the volume of my pyramid, don't forget the 1/3, it's 1/3. Area of the base, which is 24, times the height, which was 11. Again, you can do 24 times 11 and then divide by 3, or you can do 24 divided by 3 and then times 11, whatever's easier. I'm going to do 24 divided by 3, which is 8, and 8 times 11 gives me 88 cubic feet. Okay, number 8. It still comes to a point. It still comes to a point right there. So we're still going to use the 1/3 formula. And I'm going to always write that down first so I don't forget it. Volume equals 1/3 area of the base times the height. Okay, so area of the base, this is a cone. So the base is a circle. Whoops. Technical difficulties. I got interrupted by a FaceTime video and I didn't know what the heck to do. So starting over on number 8. Sorry. Okay, it comes to a point. So if it comes to a point, you got to use the 1/3 formula. So volume equals 1/3 area of the base times the height. The base is a circle, and the area of a circle is pi r squared. So it's pi times 9 squared, which is 81 pi. You can change that. Look at the directions. The directions say rounded to the nearest hundredth still, so you can change that to a decimal now, or you can wait to the end of the problem. It doesn't really matter. 81 times pi is approximately 254.47. Okay, the height of the pyramid is the 18. So the volume is 1/3 area of the base times the height. You can do 1/3 of 18 if you want to, or you can multiply these two numbers together and then divide by 3. It doesn't really matter. So, final answer for this rounded to the nearest hundredth should be 1,526.82 cubic kilometers. Okay, the last two really aren't any different except for the directions say to leave your answers in terms of pi. So now you're not going to use the pi button on your calculator. You're not going to change pi to 3.14, but other than that, it's still the same type of problem. So this one has a matching top and bottom, the two circles. So this formula is area of the base times the height without the 1/3. The base is a circle, pi r squared. So it's pi times 4 squared, which is 16 pi. The height is the length connecting the two circles, so the height is 5. So my volume is area of the base times the height. And you just multiply the 16 times the 5 and leave the pi tacked on to the end. So this is 80 pi. Now, if you forget the pi, it's wrong, because the approximate value of this is 80 times pi in my calculator. 80 times pi is a very different number. It's 251.33. So if they say leave it in terms of pi and you don't leave the pi there, there's a huge difference between a number of 80 and a number of 251. So this one, the answer is 80 pi. You must have that pi there. And the units are still miles cubed. Okay, one more problem. Okay, last one. So this is a cone. It may be tipped over on its side, but it's still a cone. It still comes to this point right here. So anything that comes to a point, don't forget, volume equals 1/3 area of the base times the height. So the base is the circle, pi r squared. So it's pi times, if the diameter is 8, then the radius is 4. So it's pi times 4 squared, or 16 pi. Okay, the height of this cone would be the 12. And the volume is going to be 1/3 area of the base times the height. Okay? And I'm going to do 1/3 of 12 first. 1/3 of 12 would be 4. 4 times 16 is 64. So this is 64 pi cubic yards. Okay, guys, I hope that went well. I hope you're ready for your test. Remember, you're allowed to have your notes out. That's okay. Good luck. I hope you do well. I hope you guys are doing well. Good luck tomorrow. Bye.